Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Take Back Mondays podcast, the podcast helping you love Mondays again. So I hope everyone can hear us. We are live today with my wonderful guest, Michelle Griffin, who is a personal branding and visibility expert, the founder of 365 posting. I forgot the and a really awesome person who shows up on LinkedIn. So if you're not following Michelle yet, after this, you're going to want to head over to her profile and follow her. And please follow her and her business page because she is a female business owner and we need to empower women more daily. So please do both. So we are now, we are muted. So we're going to unmute ourselves on the LinkedIn audio to make sure that everyone can hear us because we are doing a live audio and video. So the secret to doing these, there's going to be an echo, is that I just wanted you to unmute yourself to make sure you can get in, Michelle, because last time I had some problems with one of the guests. And so we are going to be talking today all about personal branding on LinkedIn audio and on LinkedIn video and on YouTube. So this is super fun. And I see someone is trying to raise their hand. Let me see. So this is actually an audio event where we are first going to be talking to Michelle. So if you guys want to ask questions, there's two ways to do that. I already see a couple of cool people here in the comments. I see Donna, Vicky, Justin, Juana, everyone's here on LinkedIn Live, on YouTube. And so if you guys have questions, the first way to ask questions is to come into the audio room over on LinkedIn audio. That will be on Krista Molione profile. Or you can go to either of the video platforms and just put your questions in the comments. And I promise you, I will do my best to scroll back up and make sure we answer all of them. So welcome to the show, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here. So Michelle, tell us, today we're going to talk about standing out. And this is so underrated and so important because people are always looking for these fancy hacks to game the algorithm, to produce better content, to, I don't know, somehow cheat and join an engagement pod so you can grow really fast. But honestly, you can make all those efforts to somehow drive traffic to your page or your profile. But if your profile is not up to snuff, if it's your photos hidden, your banner is very boring or even absent, your title is confusing, there's parts of your profile that just are missing, that's non-complete, people will leave. And then you wasted all that effort to write this amazing post. So before you guys post beautiful content or focus on your content, please talk to Michelle and follow Michelle because you need to first take care of your profile. Profile first, content second, please. Would you agree with that, Michelle?
Absolutely. And thank you for having me. I'm Michelle Griffin. I'm calling and being here from Florida. I'm the founder of Brand Authority. But yeah, I have an insatiable need to help more people get out there because I see so many people who need to, want to, but they're kind of missing the steps, the foundation. And that's what I build my personal brand and help my clients with. I actually have a 7-step core principles that I help people. LinkedIn is amazing. LinkedIn is your launching pad, but I see a lot of areas where people aren't doing those things beforehand.
You're muted.
Oh,
on audio. Sorry.
Oh, no. Okay. So here I am, everyone. Sorry for the LinkedIn audio people. I'm sitting here talking on YouTube or whomever. Anyway, I'm echoing. That's why I'm muted, but I'll make the best of it.
So what you do with the echo is it's going to pick up the audio from both sources. So what I've found useful is just to take my phone, and once I've unmuted myself, put my phone at a little bit of a distance. Definitely you don't want it next to your computer screen. That's
Okay.
John and I see John just jumped on. Hi, John. John and I had that experience. I think it was echoey.
Okay.
So
Well, I have it on my desktop, so I need to put it on my phone. So let me do that real quick. So welcome everybody, and it's great to be here. I haven't been on a LinkedIn audio event since like May. I kind of took a break from them, but I'm Michelle Griffin. I'm a personal brand strategist, and I'm really here to help more people put themselves out there, share their expertise, and make their unique on the mark on the world. And we all jump on LinkedIn, and it's a place to do it, but there's so many steps the way I teach it that we need to get really foundational and strategic and intentional on before we jump out. Okay. Because it gives us guardrails to have these knowledgeable things of what we need to know, what we want to be known for, who we're here to serve, to help, to work, all the things. And I'm happy to go through those real quick. They're on my website too. You can get a quick little sneak peek.
Yes. If you have anything we can download as well, Michelle, like a freebie from your website or
Yes, in the midst of redoing my website, it didn't get up yet today because a designer I had hired to help me dropped the ball. So yeah, that didn't get up. But if you guys want to, I can get that to you a little bit later today. But it's a really cool download on the first step on getting that self-awareness. But let me go through it real quick because I like to start so you have the foundation on some of the guardrails that will really help you propel yourself out there. So to build a standout personal brand, you need to know these things. Now, for me, being visible is not vanity, it's opportunities. But there's also a difference between being visible and standing out. And these 7 core principles and pillars will help you have those guardrails to jump out, get clarity. The first one is perspective. Before you can get out there and you want to build a personal brand, you need to know, who am I? What makes me me? You need internal clarity. And that's really going to be based on your personal, professional experience, perspective, the goals you want to set for yourself and envision for yourself. You need to get very clear in the way you help people, the mission. All those things are going to define how you set out. And the beautiful thing about these pillars, they stair step. So the next one is people. Now, no matter if you're working in a job or an entrepreneur, you're helping people. You're helping someone. In a job situation, you have internal and external. But at the end of the day, it's who am I here to serve, work with, and help? What are their problems, pain points, challenges? You need to get really nitty gritty on that. The also second tier of my people is your partners. Here's an example right here. Krista and I are partnering up to be on an event. So your partners, these industry people, collaborators, sister companies, people who complement you well. Another example of that is Michelle J. Raymond. She and I are great partners. It will help borrow each other's audiences and keep showing up in different places that you can leverage. Now, number 3 on the stair step is your positioning. Okay, everybody, we all know that there's probably no one in this world who's 100% unique in what you do, right? I mean, as far as a job, like there's tons of personal branding people, business coaches, whatever. And that's great. But we don't just want to blend in. We want to stand out. So the trick and what you want to do is find your positioning, your category of one in the marketplace. How am I different? How do I show up in the world and have a unique perspective, a mission? And it can be something like your offer, the way you think you do, just something very unique that defines you and helps you stand out. And the reason why you want to do this, it's getting very niche too, based on your perspective and your people. People can wrap their brains around it. Oh, well, Michelle is the personal branding expert for, female leaders and entrepreneurs. She's really helping people either in corporate or get out or not to get their expertise out there so they can make their impact in the world. So she understands me. And this is me just, putting a situation here. So your perspective goes into your people, then to your positioning. And I'm going to stop you right there because these are the top 3 core areas. These are the foundational parts of my 7 pillars that we all should have some unique idea on. And I'm going to stop right there before I go to the next 4, Krista, so we can ask questions or take a break.
Yes. So I love this. And yeah, we should see if anyone has a question for Michelle. We want to keep moving through this. So if you have like a non-related question or something at the then save that and stick with us till the very end. But I do want to mention that what you've said here would make a really good quiz. And I don't know, you haven't really connected with me a lot business wise, but I'm obsessed with quizzes, Michelle. In fact, I just released a new business quiz on my profile today to check on the health of someone's business. You take it and it will show you the core areas where you need to work on, right? And positioning is one that I think a book that I wanted to ask you if you have read or recommend that could help with that is The Blue Ocean Strategy. You've heard of that one?
Oh yeah, I have both of them actually.
I almost thought you were going to grab that book. I was like, oh my gosh, she has it under the table.
This is a good one too. But no, my other ones are in my Kindle. I have most of my books are in Kindle, but I have Blue Ocean Strategy and the follow-up. What is the follow-up? I blank out on the name, but there's 2 good ones. I actually have them on Audible too. Yeah, you don't want to be in a red ocean where all the sharks are. You want to be in your own blue ocean. And that's a wonderful book if you have never read it. So it's basically like, why should I hire you? Why should I do business with you? That positioning answers that question. Okay. Or that's what positioning is on a nutshell. So
I wanted to mention that because I think I was having this conversation with someone yesterday or on Friday about what positioning was. And he seemed a little bit confused about what he was educating me. And he said, this is another definition I've heard. And I think that to summarize positioning for me, it's when you have you create your own marketplace. So instead of being one in what we call a red ocean, which means everyone's fighting for the same fish, you have to find a way to take yourself out of the pond and create your own marketplace so you draw people towards you. And that's really well explained in the Blue Ocean Strategy. So that's when you said that, I just want to make sure people are clear what you mean by positioning.
Yes, differentiation, positioning, finding your unique place, and answering the question, why should I hire you to do business with you? And you will stand out that way. And there's more than one ways to do it. And I get really deep with my clients, but perspective internally, and then the external, people and positioning, those are the core foundations of my 7 pillars. Okay. The next parts are all the fun parts, all the fun parts that most people jump to when they want to get out. Like, they may skip briefly over these, but if you can go really deep dive and know exactly those top 3, you're going to be in great shape. So if you're ready, I'll go to the next 4. They're quick.
Yes, please,
and then we can get into questions.
Wait.
Okay. All right. Number 4 is packaging. Packaging is setting up your profiles. I actually am 100% believer that we should all have our own website. Even if you work for a company, you should have your stamp on the world. There are places like Card, CARRD, that you can get a free website that looks amazing. I mean, that's my personal belief. Yes, LinkedIn is great, but it can go away anytime. Okay, so your packaging is all the things that align with the foundational stuff. So it's your profiles, your packaging, offers, frameworks, all the things, collateral, a lead magnet, all those things that help us start conversations and build relationships. So that's going to be you. And then that's where your coloring, your fonts, your logos, and your coloring come in right here too. Okay. Because you've understood now who I'm here to serve. I made this mistake 2 years ago. We all do, like, oh, let's get a logo. Let's get colors. Let's get a website. Well, that's kind of hard when you can't communicate what it should be about if you don't know who you're for or what you're about. So packaging is fun, but huge too. Now, publishing. Okay. Content is a fuel to our brands. It creates trust online. It's how we get to know you, and you share your expertise and you share and solve problems. So publishing is huge. I'm a firm believer in starting in one social media place. Get really good before you go crazy on all the other platforms. And that's when you have your content pillars and core impact areas that are going to define who you are, what you want to be known for. when you're getting really good and you're getting traction, at some point you want to start amplifying that with promotion. And also too, I know Krista, the business coach in you, there's email lists and all this. I'm skipping over a lot of little things, but
well, some of it can be categorized within all of these things, but this is amazing checklist.
Exactly. And I'll talk to you soon about the quiz, because I have some ideas on that. But promote is the next one. This is where, can I give you guys a real story? In June, Krista knows this because I was supposed to be on the show in June. I was hit hard with COVID for the second time in 18 months, vaccinating, all that. I was laid up on this couch in my office for 2 weeks on my back, wondering about the world and whatever. And I didn't post. And I watched everything just dry up. I got DMs and stuff, but I was like, I can't keep feeding the social media machine. So I decided, I have a background in master's in PR. I'm going to start adding another diversified visibility stream to my business and my clients is public relations. So I'm a firm believer we need to share we need shared media, which can be social. That's what I call shared. You're sharing it with someone else, but they have an audience. Then you have earned. That's press, publicity, and PR. That's other things besides press. And then owned. Can I tell you right now, if you go to my website, I have a gazillion things of content and all my stored, but it is not forward facing. So my owned content is lacking. So we need to have shared, owned, and earned media to keep amplifying, promoting us. Now, when you're in that space, you are ready to propel yourself. You're ready to keep taking bigger steps, bolder actions, and look for bigger opportunities to keep growing your personal brand, because it's never done. It just keeps growing and succeeding to build your trust, your community, and your growth. So that is a very 30,000 level view of the 7 steps.
Oh, wow. Well, I love it, because I think when people hear personal branding, sometimes their eyes just glaze over, and it's hilarious how many people get confused with visual identity and personal brand. So when I ask people in my intake, so tell me about your personal brand, immediately they're like, oh, I have a logo. And they think that that's it. Like there's a checkbox that says personal brand done because you have designed a logo or hired someone for. And I'm like, first of all, the logo is probably the last thing that comes to mind because of what you just said. You have to first identify who you're serving and really hone in on that ideal customer. The first year of your business, no one's going to be like, oh my goodness, she's not a real professional because, she's not using a professional logo. So I've gone through like 4 or 5 logos, and they were just things I created in Canva that just had my name inside, and that was it, or my initials inside, but really simple stuff. Because I'm not a designer, and I knew that wasn't going to be the first thing on my to-do list. So this list is really helpful. Let's see if anyone in the audience has some questions, either on the video chats here or in the audio. Speak up. Anybody have questions for Michelle Griffin about your personal brand, or any stories you want to share about things that may have gotten you stuck?
Can I also say too, one of my pet peeves, I'm going to probably make some people mad, but there's a thing on LinkedIn where people just say I'm doing content and I'm personal branding. Well, that's just a part of it. Like there's a fine balance, because I do want people to get out there. And I do think, and I know firsthand, action breeds clarity. So sometimes when you're not 100% sure, you should get out there, but I don't want people to think that's like, I'm done, because having some guardrails, even if you are not 100% crystal clear in those top 3, pick a guardrail to stay in, because that's going to help you get traction faster than just pivoting all over the place.
Those are amazing. So we've got Claire up on the stage here on the LinkedIn audio. So welcome, Claire. You can unmute yourself and see how are you doing?
Hey, ladies. I just tried to clap my mic. Talk about stuck on Clubhouse. I just wanted to come up here because you and Michelle are 2 of my favorite people when it comes to personal branding. I feel like the things that you share are so actionable and straightforward. So I have a question for you. Let me propose a situation to you, and I would just love to hear both of your takes on it, because I'm going to get really specific. So I help my clients when they're promoting themselves for their career. many of them are stepping into this new realm of video. And so I would love to hear, when it comes to a personal branding for career motivation video strategy, what are some top tips you would give them?
All right. Are we?
Okay,
All
so
right, thanks. Are you going,
video.
Krista? You go. You're going, Krista. Okay.
No. So I just want to clarify, we're talking about video strategy, right, Claire?
Yes. So the big question that a lot of my clients will have is, hey, Claire, I'm excited to start trying video. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to do all the things that I hear on LinkedIn every day. But I'm not exactly sure what to talk about. And so I'm wondering, I guess, from a content perspective, from a personal branding perspective, when you are positioning yourself for your career, and in this case, a medical sales career, what would some top tips be from you two?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, I'll let you go first, Michelle, because I think I can talk way too much. So,
all right, let me see. I guess I need to unmute on LinkedIn audio. Hey, Claire. Good to see you. You're one of my favorites too. It's so good to see you. Okay, so I actually had an amazing woman who's in your field. I'm going to have to connect with me just a little while ago today. So I thought of you. I'm like, oh, Claire's defined in her space, so I'm going to connect you. But if you want to get in video, first, Claire, as you probably write about this, I think you post about this today. What do these people want to be known for in their industry? Do they want to share their expertise? They also want to speak on stages. What are their goals? Like, are they trying to get promoted? All those things really knowledgeable first, so your strategy takes effect and brings you success. Having core topic areas, about maybe a certain area in your industry. Let me ask you this, Claire. Even the medical industry, sales industry, that's still pretty broad, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, totally. And a lot of times it'll be, the two different buckets will be either I'm trying to be known because I'm successful in my medical career as a rep, right? So I want to be known beyond my current role. My real
I think we lost you there.
So it looks like she's still talking, but we can't hear her. Maybe it's her internet.
Yeah.
Let's just wait and see if she comes back. But that was a great point, Michelle, about, dive deeper. Like, instead of right away talking about what subjects or what content. I think she's back. There she is.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Claire.
I'm back. Siri bogarted my call. Okay, let me quick recap. Two main buckets. Number one, medical sales reps who want to get known in the field as someone who's trustworthy by their physicians and accountable to their teams as a rep. And then the other bucket is, I have a lot of senior leaders who get up to like district manager roles and VP roles, and they want to start presenting their personal brand, but as a leader, as more of an executive presence, which is a little bit of a different conversation, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they both should be putting themselves out there, and if they're comfortable in video, first and foremost, make sure that's going to be a good thing, because you nail video, Claire, but people hear the tactics and think, I need to do this, I need to be here, I need to do that. First, are your audience receptive to video? They're going to watch it. Are you comfortable on it? I even tell my clients, and I'm an example of this. I'd rather be on LinkedIn live videos streaming any day of the week than making videos of my own. So those are some of the tactical things, but I would first define the goals and what they want to do, and then from there define the areas they want to show up and help, entertain, and motivate, so that they can get that promotion or just become like a thought leader in their space, is what I'm hearing, the two divergence here.
Okay, so I would like to just jump in. That's excellent advice, Michelle. And what I'd like to say is to advise your clients. One of the things that I love about what you said today, Michelle, was number 2 of your pillars was about people, right? Building a network and partnering with people. Well, this is where, Claire, exactly that would be my recommendation is bring in, we've got the lovely Vicki O'Neill here tuning in on YouTube. I think she's only over on YouTube, not on the audio, but she can hear us. And Vicki is a video coach. And here's my thing. I would in a heartbeat recommend someone to you, Claire, or you, Michelle, because if the shoe fits, then I know. And part of our power of being a trusted advisor or a trusted coach or consultant with a firm is to tell them when you recommend bringing on somebody for a consultation. And remember, we're not talking about, oh, I'm going to hand you over to someone else or we're going to switch. Because if you're hired to help them with their marketing or their content or their personal brand, you're not going to say, oh, jinx, I'm not competent, so let me hand you over to someone who's more competent. But on the contrary, what I think we have to stop doing is trying to be, and this goes in exactly to this conversation, trying to be a jack of all trades. So personal branding also means defining where you want to bring in partners because the boundaries have been overstepped. And you're like, look, I'm kind of out of my zone. For example, I overstep a lot with LinkedIn. So I'm a business coach, but a lot of my clients want to be more visible on LinkedIn or they want LinkedIn tips. And I do actually have a LinkedIn course, but I'm very clear that this course is only for business owners. So if you're in corporate, this would not be a good fit. Please do not buy this course. I'll refund you if you do, because I talk all the time about getting clients. So it's not a one-on-one LinkedIn course. And I tell them, honestly, I've got an amazing network of qualified LinkedIn coaches. Shout out to John Esperian, who joined us at the beginning as well, who was in the audience over on YouTube or on LinkedIn Live, I believe, LinkedIn Live. So you see, this is the beauty of building a network such as we've done on LinkedIn, because then we can tell your client, how about we bring in a person to help with the video strategy, who can help the executives get comfortable on camera. I know Vicki has a confidence course that she teaches. And I do believe all executives should take such a course. You know, the two courses I recommend for executives whenever I coach people who say I want to build my personal brand is a video course, because today, sooner or later, they're going to ask you as a executive to go on camera. And number two, a public speaking course. So in LinkedIn Learning has a couple of good ones as well. But I also know some public speaking coaches. So, shout out, let's help one another. I always say collaborate over competition. So that's a really long-winded answer, but I hope that helps, Claire.
Yes, this is why I bring these questions to you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your question. That's a good one. And it's definitely not easy nowadays, because what is personal brand? Under the umbrella of personal brand, like I said in the beginning, I think it's very misunderstood. Some people just say, I've got my logo and that's good enough. And other people will hire you and then expect you to be knowing anything and everything. So whatever hits their table, you have to become a PR expert. You have to become a graphic designer. You have to become a web developer, and that's definitely where
that's a public personal branding agency right there. That's not
right
like
there. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a different price range. I know your prices
Absolutely.
aren't cheap, but we would need a tenfold price to cover those things. So,
well, here's the thing. I give my clients like a brand in a box, the whole 7 steps. It tells you exactly what you're getting and what you should do. And then places where you can accelerate on your own or hire out, because you're right. No one can do all that. But if you have the armed with the strategy and the tools to get out there, then you're going to be fine. But I'm now pulling one of the services I'm going to start offering is I have a master's in PR. I'm going to start doing some more, helping them with more do-it-yourself PR, so that they can, amplify themselves on podcasts and press. But yeah, so it's a complicated thing. And I want to say today's posted today about if someone doesn't like the term personal branding, it is a search term. You can think of it as personal positioning. Okay. You're positioning yourself online. to show up in the best light, to be known for something, for someone, not everyone, right? So consider it that. It's almost, there's a quote that I read and I believe in is the future belongs to those who build their personal brands online. I mean, it used to be have a social media handle back 10, 15 years ago. Now it's have your online presence be known. And that's going to differentiate us and get us out there.
So there is one pet peeve that I want to shout out, and then I want to see if you have any pet peeves while we're waiting for any more questions. And the pet peeve I have is when people think that personal branding means creating a false persona of themselves.
Yeah.
So people come to me and it's almost like, face filters and a lot of makeup or Botox or plastic surgery. So that's how they think in their mind a personal brand should be. So they're like, I'm just boring little old me. I'm not special. So I want you to come in and wave the magic wand and, create this fake person. And then they're like, well, I want you to fill in all the blanks about me and make me sound like $1 million. And I'm sure any resume writers or career coaches know exactly what I'm talking about as well. And that's a big pet peeve of mine because I often tell clients that you are already your personal brand. What is personal branding for me? It is showing the world who you already are, not becoming someone else, not trying to pretend you're somebody else. And that's a huge distinction. And that kind of scares people because I don't think we're used to talking about who we really are,
Once you figure it out, though, it'll change your life professionally and personally. I want to tell you, I 100% agree with that. I blame the Instagram filtered effect. There was an article, and I can link in the show notes from 2017 by the former CEO of Meta, Sheryl Sandberg. It was called The Case Against Personal Brands. And in this article, she was just riffing on personal branding and the fakeness and all that. I'm like, okay, well, I get where you're coming from, but I don't believe it because she too had that false sense. This was in 2017. I don't know if it's changed, but she thought it was all about being fake and being an influencer and, the filtered look. And no, I don't even ever work with anyone who wants to do that because you have so much to give. You on your own and have expertise or service and a mission and message to share that you have to get out there. It is driving. That was like me.
You're muted again. Just leave yourself unmuted. I'm sorry, everyone. I have to flag down Michelle because she talked, but she was muted.
Well, I know. And I was saying all that good stuff and it was muted.
No, don't worry. So basically, you are your personal brand. Everyone heard that, what I said. And talking about putting yourself out there. And I would love to read that article you just mentioned.
Yes.
From Sheryl Sandberg saying that she mistakenly thought personal brands were all about being fake and being Instagrammable and stuff when it's really not. And that's what I want. I think people aren't used to being asked, who are you? So it terrifies them. So when I coach people, that's one of my first questions is trying to get her to the deep core of like, what makes you you? And just the other day, I think in my I'm doing a 6-week business boot camp right now for the summer. And I said, your homework is to tell me what are the vibe words. And when I say vibe words, 3 to 5 words that I want your profile to feel like. So when I come visit your profile, what are the emotions that you want me to feel? So do you want me to feel like you're this happy, bubbly California girl, California or Florida girl? Because there's a lot of there's a distinction, but a lot of similarities to a certain point, right? You see what I mean? Or do you want me to see this really polished, professional, financial savvy person from New York City? Very, very huge difference. But if you can't tell me what you want to be described as, what your vibe is, who are you? And so that might be a homework for everyone listening or watching to take away, right? Is look at these principles. This will be available on my podcast for replay. Michelle, I will definitely update the show notes later and put any links you want in there so that people can get these 7 points and, learn more about how you can help them, because it's
My guide
definitely
will be ready. It'll be there, and it's going to help you bring out these questions. Who am I? It's based on the also for self-awareness identity. I love the Japanese term ikigai, if you're familiar with. It's the Japanese reason for
yes.
being. And it is, I really bring it into play in my first step, among other areas. I do a really deep dive, like taking the 1,000 pieces that make you and finding the frame of the picture you live in. It's really hard. We've been so conditioned to do all the things, but we neglect ourselves. And it's almost like the oxygen mask theory. We have to know ourselves and take care of ourselves so we can get out there and give of ourselves. So that's what I'm a big believer in. And I'm 100% authentic. The word authentic is very overused, but it's just being genuine, real, relatable, honestly we need more human connection and personalization. We need it more than content. Okay. It is so needed. And that's why I'm obsessed with personal branding for a force of good.
Well, speaking of personal branding, we just got on the stage the lovely Brenda Miller. She's been on my show a while back as well. So she's the pie lady. So she has this amazing personal brand to become known as getting a slice of the social media pie. She has a book with the same name. And that's what really I think of when I think of her. So I got to be careful and count my calories every time I see her in my feed. But here she is. So Brenda, welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Krista and Michelle. I was actually just popping around my calendar. I'm like, oh, I'm here and I'm listening. And I always heard that a good friend will tell you if you have spinach on your cheese. So I'm the friend in the audience who's just saying someone's got a bad echo, and I wasn't sure if it was just me or if others are hearing it as well. I left the live and then I came back in and I heard it again. I'm not sure if it's Krista or if it's Michelle, but there's like an echo I'm hearing from both, from like it's like magnifying the sound.
Okay, so we are on LinkedIn audio and LinkedIn video live. And so the sound is coming from two sources. So I think that's why. I think there's two problems. There's a lag and an echo. So there's going to be a lag because it's coming from the internet. And then we're taking it from two sources. So not sure if there's a way to fix that. I just know that what gets recorded is the live. And that's the only reason that I've been doing these two at the same time, is because then I can keep these on and I can use them again and keep them. There's a longevity. Whereas for right now, LinkedIn audio isn't recordable yet.
What if you did LinkedIn Live, and then that way, because the audience, Brenda, is it the audience experience is so bad you don't want to be in here? Is that what you're saying? Like it's so loud and hurt on your ears?
Right now, Michelle, while you're talking, it's echoing and it's reverbing, and it makes me want to leave. And I love both of you, and I want to hear from both of you, but it makes me not want to. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I gotta say something.
No, thank you. Thank you for telling us. And we'd love to have you come over to the LinkedIn Live, because if you look at my profile, if you just click on my head, literally, you'll see that on LinkedIn right now I am live, so you can watch it. So if it's bad, let's so what I would suggest is the 9 people who are here in the audience, plus you, Brenda, if you guys want to head over to the LinkedIn Live, I can stop the audio event because that way you guys can still ask your questions via the chat. All right?
Let's do that.
So just we're going to leave. We're going to close down this room because Brenda says it's bad. But thank you guys for telling us there's spinach in our teeth here, because okay, so I'm closing it, and I am now should be just live on my profile. Okay, hold on, not yet. Okay, see you guys soon. There. All right, LinkedIn audio event. Okay, so it's unfortunate. I wish that the LinkedIn audio was recordable, and I do think LinkedIn will do something about it soon. Oh no, Brenda was going to get a funnel cake. I was laughing because I am doing a boot camp, and the point of my 6-week boot camp is to build funnels, teaching people how to build a funnel. And I even made a funny carousel post about what the funnel, because people were like, well, I don't need a funnel. I'm a business owner. Like, what do you mean? I'm not a digital marketer. and I don't need ClickFunnels. I'm like, oh no, ClickFunnels has done such a great job of branding that name that now people don't understand that a funnel is just a framework to push people through a pipeline that ends in a sale versus, just putting
Losing
your
it.
content out there and losing. Okay, LinkedIn user says this is better. So somebody is very kind to come all over here, but we don't know who you are. So unknown person, thank you.
Yeah, that's a settings issue too. So you just have to go to make sure third party will let you show your profile. Yeah, I'm a big Brenda. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I was hearing echo too, but at the end of the day, Chris and I are here to help, and I know. This will be good too. And the beautiful thing, I can go find that article real quick. Okay, you talk, and I'm going to go link to that Sheryl Sandberg article.
Awesome. And in the meantime, there was a question I'm going to put on the screen that came from. Let me find it again here because I promise no person left behind. Okay. So this was from LinkedIn. So do you have any other books you'd recommend? Because we talked about this blue ocean strategy. And while we were kind of chatting, Vicky said that she would recommend a book by Mark Schaefer. And I'm connected with Mark Schaefer and I've met him. He's very good with personal branding, by the way, in terms of like putting himself out there. He's got a good personal brand. So his book is called Known.
It's really good. It's one of my favorites too.
Good. And then I just put a new one. This is one that I recently have read, Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley.
Okay.
And that came on my radar because Chris Do interviewed him on his podcast. And I've been following Chris Do for a while. He's an amazing guy too, has a great personal brand. So I just want to say how amazing it is to surround yourself with cool people, because then you'll never run out of inspiration. And you'll always up your game, because we don't realize this, but we tend to either raise ourselves to the bar of the people around us, or on the contrary, let our standards fall when the people in our inner circle aren't really moving the ball. So I'm really proud to have so many amazing friends.
You really do. And I know you and I had a situation yesterday that you helped me with. So I put that article in there so you guys can laugh at it. It's from 2017. Not laugh, but just realize the miscommunication there and know that is not. But here's the thing. I will be 100% honest. There are personal brands that are all me. I think we again talked about that yesterday, Krista, on our WhatsApp chat from France to Florida yesterday.
We've been complaining. Everyone here has no idea that me and Michelle have been having some. If we would have put that on the podcast, we'd be in trouble.
Oh, yeah. There were some little hairy things, but that's the thing. She had my back. I have hers. Brenda has ours. Brenda is amazing. I've had many LinkedIn Lives with her and Michelle Raymond. That's a partnership thing I was talking about. All incredible women, and just a shout out to helping more women support and partner with each other. That's how we keep expanding it.
You have a show. So tell us about your show. You have a show you have one by yourself or
yes, I have two podcasts. I know, right? Well, my first one is 52 episodes, The Business of You. I'm doing a little rebrand. It's coming out very soon. And in the meantime, you can catch us weekly all about LinkedIn brand. It's called the LinkedIn Branding Show with Michelle Raymond. It's been out about 3 months. It's how to build your personal and company brand. I'm going to put a link right now. We just did a really good one about your about section yesterday or last Thursday. We have a really good one coming out about LinkedIn groups. And what was the other one? Michelle will say, Michelle, we're talking about this. And she's the one who makes me sometimes stir the pot in a good way and get it out there. We're non-cliche talking, non-cliche advice. So it's been well received so far, and we've been really fortunate. I'm such a fan of Michelle Raymond's, as we all are.
What day of the week? Is this a live
Thursdays?
show?
No. It started as a LinkedIn Live and an audio. It started audio, then LinkedIn Live. Right now, it is a podcast. So we can all the platforms. And you can go to michellesquared.com. We call ourselves Michelle Squared. And you can get a link to it. And it's also every Thursday at like midnight Central Time. I'm going to put a link in the show right now.
I have to say hats off to you, because Michelle Raymond is on the opposite end of the earth. She's down under in Australia. And I have such a heck of a time trying to organize events for people in Australia.
Yeah.
So I think I got the link here. Let me see.
It won't let me post a comment for some reason. That's
Yeah,
weird.
it's not. Let me see if there's a reason for that. Hold on. There might be a setting thing.
Okay.
It asked me if I should ban you from the studio. No, I don't want that.
I was trying to do it on LinkedIn Live. So, yeah.
You might have to post as a, wait, it says guests can see viewer comment. You can see the comments, but it doesn't say anything about you having
Well, I'm
to,
on LinkedIn Live right now and on LinkedIn trying to post it, and it won't let me post the link. But it's just
oh, you know what you can do though?
Mhm.
If you're with me inside StreamYard, you can go to the private chat.
Okay.
Click on private chat and drop any links and I will repost them.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah, we definitely. So I have been subscribed to Michelle's podcast, Michelle Raymond's podcast over on YouTube. And I pretty much binge watch those because I just save them up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch them while I'm doing other things because then I'm multitasking, but I get so much value out of these shows. So I'm super excited. There we go. Oh,
Yeah.
and Vicky, thank you. We both posted Michelle Squared at the same time. And then now the podcast is called the LinkedIn Branding Show, everybody. So go check that out. I really love all this.
We give good advice, but we're not afraid to tell it like it is in a very loving way, like Brenda did, right? Like
There
in a
you
very
go.
loving way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the kind of, we need more people like that because what we're talking about today is personal branding. And it's so true that being yourself is tough. And I think I go into this, I have this new LinkedIn audio show I do on Fridays called Girl Talk. And we're talking about stuff like that. Like why is it so hard to use our voice? Why do we need to wait for permission or approval to use our voice? And so everyone listening, if you want to do a personal brand, you have to first accept who you are unapologetically. So if you like Nola today, I was on her show and on her audio event, and she was talking about working in her PJs and how she embraces that. And she doesn't care if someone doesn't like that. That's how she likes to work. It's like very often I'm comfortable. Why would I have to get dressed up? Right. So we got Chris in the audience. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Chris is building a really interesting personal brand too. Vicky's building a personal brand too like when we say building, this is really interesting because you said this earlier, Michelle, it's never done.
No.
So it's not like, oh, I start my business and there's this cutoff date, like a honeymoon period where during that period, I have to get my personal brand sorted out. And then that's it. I never touch it again. And life is good. I'm a business coach and I can tell all of you that a lot of times people coming in, I'm like a doctor. I'm like diagnosing the person. That's what business coaches really do. I'm looking for what's wrong. And I'm sure you're doing the same when someone comes and does a personal brand assessment with you. I'm looking at Vicky's comments and I'm thinking video. And that's the beauty of personal brand, by the way. I look at Vicky and I think video. I look at Chris and I think challenges. I look at you, I think personal branding. Brenda, I think of LinkedIn social media pie, right? So
and phone Bill, he was here. If he was here, the phone. And Michelle Raymond, good for business. And
right. Everyone.
Company pages.
For me, it's company pages. I think of company pages. John Esperian was here. We think of LinkedIn coaching and LinkedIn expertise.
And relentlessly helpful. Oh, let me just tell you, he's featured in the Known book. He's in the Known book, by the way.
Love it. Wait, I think he told me that. I think we talked
that's how we met
that.
Mark Schaefer. Yeah, he's featured in the Known book.
It's such a small world.
It really is. That's how he got his tagline, speaking on a Mark's event. And he said, I'm relentlessly helpful. And ever since then, that's been his thing. But here's the thing. Michelle is an example, since we all know her, of how you've never done. She's just getting going. Right now, she's transitioning to be more B2B growth business strategist using LinkedIn as a tool. So she's in the propel stage. And I'm actually trying to get her in the promotion to amplify it with more media and stuff, but she is growing. I'm rebranding too. We're never done. It's a never one and done. And here's the thing, the more I get out there, it's not perfect. I'm not perfect and it's not easy, but I feel so much better, 100% aligned of who I am. And I don't care if mean people say things about us behind our back, right? You don't care. It's like, I have a bigger mission. I have to be out here to help more people.
Exactly. On the
Yeah.
contrary, I think we talked about this maybe about having emotional intelligence and mental toughness. So anyone who's building a personal brand, don't feel insecure if you pick pink and wonder, oh, if I pick pink, somebody's going to say they don't like that pink.
Yep.
Don't worry about what anyone else thinks. Worry about what aligns for the one ideal customer you're serving, and say, if that's going to be a major turnoff to them, then it's a deal breaker, because I'm communicating something that just won't resonate with them. And that's exactly the opposite. So, and if that's really strongly an opposing force, like I love something, but this person I'm trying to work with hates it, maybe it's not the color of the problem, maybe it's the person, because we talked about trying to be someone we're not. So if you are trying to serve some very conservative corporate client, and you have purple hair and you have tattoos and you love being unique and individual and cool, there is a possibility it will work, right? I know somebody who's actually successful in that aspect, but the truth is, you don't have to change for those clients. That's my point. My point is, if that's not interesting for them, but that's who you are, please don't change your brand for them, right? So when I say you're designing it for your ideal customer, I want you guys to see both sides of that, right? Because it could be that that's not really your ideal customer. If they're making you feel uncomfortable, they're making you change or hide who you truly are.
Well, that's why perspective is number one. You have to be 100% include into who you are, self-awareness, self-identity. So you can say, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. These people are not who I need to be with or help, and then you feel great because you need to oxygen mask yourself, the whole thing. So it's a muscle, Krista. It's a muscle. When you get out there armed with those things, you just keep flexing it and it grows stronger. It's never going to be easy, but you just get tougher and more resilient to do it. So that's why arming yourselves helps that as well.
Love it. Well, we're almost about out of time. So I'm happy, though, that Brenda told us it was that bad. So we shut down the audio room. And people are going to be like, oh, I'm trying to hear what they're saying, but it just, but luckily we still have people on LinkedIn Live and YouTube. So I hope that if you guys have any last questions, that now's the time to drop those in there. Otherwise, I really want everyone to connect with Michelle. She has so much value to offer. And, I'm always had a smile on my face when I see you in my feed. I love your stuff.
Thank you.
And personal branding is what Chris said here, I think is great, an endurance race, because it definitely does take time and effort. And yes, I think that maybe the last thing we could talk about is the outcome or the consequence, because somebody might be listening and saying, well, this is really nice, but it's optional. It's not essential for my sales and marketing. Like I can get by without it. And to be very frank with you, I've had conversations with CEOs along those lines who told me, I don't even have social media because I was able to build my business man to man, in real time, like it's supposed to be. And then they just don't understand. And when you say you need to actually put yourself out there as the face of the company, they say, well, no, I've hired a PR rep or somebody to write press releases. And she's much better looking than me. She can be the spokesperson for the company. And slowly some CEOs are like, are getting woke to this problem, but there's still some out there that legitimately are thinking that way. What would you tell them?
I would tell them many different things. First of all, if you want a good book on that, go read Founder Brand by Dave Gerhardt. It came out early this year, and it's phenomenal. Founder Brand. Okay, here's the thing. Obviously, the world has changed. I don't have to tell you that. I think the pandemic has made it even more the need to connect as a human. Okay. The world's changed. People want to know who is behind the brand. It's not going to cut it. Yeah, maybe you can, but there are your competition. Other people are getting out there. They're humanizing, personalizing their brands. They're connecting with their customers. And that is what a personal brand is. It's bringing you down to a human level so you get to know each other. They get to know you, and just making a comforting feeling that your business is here for more. You know, millennials and Gen Z, their stats, they are here and they want to do business with companies and people who are here for a greater reason than just what's behind the money. I mean, this is humanism 101. And so if you're not doing it, your competition will, you know. And a founder brand with amazing examples is probably the best way to do it for your company of all sizes. And there's some amazing case studies. If you don't follow Dave Gerhardt, he's really good in the B2B CMO space. He's now left to do his own personal brand business, and he's phenomenal, but I highly recommend it. But anyway, get out there. You don't have to. Here's why. I've worked with CEOs and executives. They're scared to put themselves out there because they don't want to be vulnerable. You don't have to do it as much as you don't want to. So there's definitely varying degrees of how you can get out there.
No, this is great. So we have one more question. So let's see. Justin asks, how long should someone keep a brand before rebranding? Oh, that's a great question. So does the original brand expire, or like, how would you know it's time for a rebrand? Are there signs, or is there a deadline?
No, there's no deadline. It's when you've done your part and you're working with someone, and there's varying aspects and degrees of rebrand. Okay. So it doesn't expire. It is you. It is you as your brand. And so you're just evolving maybe on the way you offer things, or the way you show up, the way you, the people you work with. So it's just slowly evolving as you get clarity and get out there and get the feedback, which is so important. You will realize you don't just really stop and say, I'm done, I'm doing this. It's just, and here's the thing, because we want to know you and talk about your journey. I have known and followed many of people who said, you know, I'm pivoting this. I'm in sort of the middle of a rebrand. I'm putting my website out, changing my podcast to be more niche. And it's you. So remember, you don't just cut off and stop. You just keep growing and evolving. And I promise you, it is clear once you get out there.
Oh, this is great. A place to stop for tonight for me and for you to get on with your day. But thank you so much for coming on my show. It's so sad that you had to reschedule due to COVID, but here, I think we've gotten used to it over the past years, having a lot of different plans disrupted because of that. Hopefully we're seeing the last end of this, but it was worth the wait. So if anyone has any questions, please to connect with Michelle and put the questions in on her post. She puts out some amazing content on personal branding. Everyone needs to do this, because otherwise, if you don't stand out, sorry, but there's just too much happening and people's attention is very limited. So if you think that's superficial, it's not really, it's not on purpose. I like to tell people, imagine you go to a conference and you see, you know, thousands of people, and there's one person wearing like bright blue shoes. And that would be me, because I have a pair that I wear when I go to conferences. And then later on, I'll be like, I was the blonde lady with the blue shoes. And people know immediately who I was, even though during 4 days they met literally hundreds of people. They'll be like, oh, I remember exactly who you were. So that's definitely a thing. Michelle rocks. Great seeing you both. Of course, you rock also. Thank you,
Thank you, Chris. Right back at you. No, this was phenomenal. I'm going to have that guide. If anyone wants to DM me or shout out, that guide will be your first step in defining your personal brand. That's huge. So it should be up real soon, but I'm happy to get that out and just give, it's a foundation on the Ikigai, your reason for being. So connect with me or Krista for that in the next day or so. And I will get that to you, because I want more people to put themselves out there and make their unique mark on the world. Okay.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for coming. Everyone, we're going to wrap this up for tonight, or for today. I keep saying tonight because I'm in France. And go out there and build your awesome personal brands. And I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Take Back Mondays, where I interview guests who are making change in this world. All right. So see you guys next week.
Thank you, Krista. Take care, everyone. Bye.